right. I'm calling this meeting to order.
I'm calling this meeting to order.
All right, so this is the November 6, 2019 Cottage Grove City Council meeting, which my partners, mayors up here, both Olive and Sarah, are joining me this evening. We'll be talking more about that in a few minutes. So the meeting is called to order. Our next item on our agenda this evening is the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you'd please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, well, actually, it's not the clerk. We sent the clerk home. He's a little sick after the election yesterday, I guess. But our Administrator, Jennifer Levitt, are you taking roll?
I am, Mayor. Councilmember Mills.
Here.
Councilmember Dennis.
Here.
Councilmember Thiede.
Here.
Councilmember Butt.
Here.
Mayor Bailey.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, sounds good. Next on our agenda this evening is open forum. This is the opportunity that anybody that wants to speak on something that's not on tonight's agenda is welcome to do so. We did have a sign-up sheet out in the entryway, and we did have one gentleman sign up, John Koyman, 6749 Geneva Avenue in Cottage Grove, and it looks like Oldman Park Maintenance, I believe. So if you want to go up to the podium, John, and share with us your information.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members. So we live up right adjacent to the new Altman School. A couple years ago, the District 833 basically donated about $2 million to build the city a new park, future park. And that's basically the land purchase, the grading, and the plantings. So a couple questions there. The city, I guess, mows the property. Last couple times, the guy has driven through our yard, ruts up my property, drives down my driveway. You know, we got a no trespassing sign. I don't appreciate it. I wondered what you'd normally do to fix that. I have entered a complaint on the city website the first time, and nothing ever happened. It happened again 2 weeks ago. You know, I can send you pictures of the ruts, whatever you want to do on that. Second question I had was, and again, I don't know if this is your problem or not, but part of the development of the park was to plant trees. They, you know, planted several hundred, I'm sure. They don't take care of them. So they either get choked out by the weeds or they don't water them. You know, just in my little section there, there's, I think I counted like 33 dead trees. So is that, once they plant them, are they off the hook as far as maintaining them? Or should I be going to the, you know, District 833 board to do that? And if they do replace them, you know, is anybody gonna take care of them? So I think, you know, and the last part of that would be, you know, who pays for that? So if they replace 33 trees, maybe $300 a pop to take them out, put a new one in, is that $10,000 out of my Cottage Grove tax dollars, or is that $10,000 out of my school money? Where is that coming from? So, thanks for the opportunity to speak with you.
Sounds-
And I had one more thing.
Yes.
When you bring up item 70, if I could speak on that too, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, the comprehensive plan?
Yep.
Okay. I'll pull that for a separate comment then, if that's okay. With staff, we'll do that. Just as a side note, I think you and I talked a while back about the tree situation. I'm not 100% sure. I know our staff will, I don't know if you want to do it now, or do you want to do it now? Jennifer Levitt?
Mayor and Council, Mr. Koyman has referenced a very important point, and that is in regards to the vegetation that the school district did plant. Staff has been out there in the last month to evaluate the trees, and there has been a number of dead trees. As part of their requirement, they have a 2-year requirement to ensure that they're maintained, and we also have a cash escrow from the school district for replacement. And so the school district has been notified of all of the dead vegetation that they need to replace. Obviously, given the condition of the trees and the time of year, it'll probably happen in the spring when those trees will be replaced, but we do have a cash escrow to ensure that that replacement does occur, and we have communicated with the school district regarding that vegetation, so that is all in route right now for repair. And so that's the situation with that, and we apologize, and we'll look into the situation with the ruts and ensure that that doesn't occur again.
Yeah, and I do know in talking with Keith Jacobus, superintendent, I did mention about the tree situation that you had brought up to my attention, and he assured us that they would take care of that, so I know the city will do the follow-up, but there is in any development that we have, there is an escrow, so the money is already there. In the event that they don't replace them or something happens, in this case, I don't think that'll be the issue with the school district, but there is money available, so it wouldn't be an additional tax, if you will, on us or the school district. Typically, if they run like we do, and I'm kind of looking at our staff because I'm assuming they would have to a certain extent, we put in parameters of length of time that the tree has to be survivable, and then it's up to the developer to replace it if it doesn't live. So we'll have to check. I can't answer for sure if that's the case with the school district, but my assumption is it would be based on what they shared with me.
Okay, and then for the ruts that are there now and then future.
Yeah, Jennifer said she'll do some follow-up for you on that.
Great.
All right, thank you. All right, no one else had signed up on open forum. Was there anybody else in the audience that maybe missed that wants to speak tonight on open forum? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and close the open forum, and we'll move to number 5, council, looking for adoption of the agenda.
Move the agenda.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilmember Thiede,
Second.
second by Councilmember Dennis. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. All right, next is 6 is presentations this evening. This is a very special, it's first time for me, being the mayor of Cottage Grove. And if you've noticed, I have, on both sides of me, I have 2 mayors flanking me in this particular case. What we did is we had, the state does a program, or the league does a program, what's called Mayor for a Day. And we, as a city, decided to do this for the first time this year, which is a Mayor of the Day essay contest. And we've, because of their great work, we chose the 2 individuals sitting next to me here to be the mayor for a day. And so I'm going to ask for a council to approve by appointing Olive Mackey and Sarah York as mayor for a day. So we'll start with that. So I'll look for a motion.
Mayor, I'll make that a motion.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilmember Mills,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councilmember Butt. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So now you both are official mayors of the day. All right. So part of being the mayor of the day for this year, they had the opportunity to get picked up from school today, correct? Mm-hmm. And what did you get picked up in?
A police car?
Yep, and it wasn't a bad police car, so this is a good thing. This is a good thing. So, and they got the opportunity to visit a variety of locations in Cottage Grove. They were able to go to the ice arena. And what did you do in the ice arena?
We rode a Zamboni.
They got to ride on a Zamboni.
That was fun.
There we go. And then you got to go to the fire station, right? And it sounds like you got a lot of candy.
Yes, yeah. A lot of candy.
There you go. And then they came up here and had some pizza with myself and the council and the staff. Then for a little bit of a break there, they got to go tour the police department. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep. And then you also got to ride in a plow truck.
Yes.
Perfect. So for the future, when we do this again next year, this is an opportunity for others within the community to be able to make that happen or want to put your name in so we can choose next year's Mayor of the Day essay contest. And so the next thing what I'd like to do is I'm going to start with Sarah. Both of them are going to speak a little bit about what their essay was all about. So Sarah, do you want to start?
Mine was about when I was raking leaves with my dad. When we were finished with one of the piles, I ran back up the hill because I wanted to help my neighbors because they're old and I thought I could help them rake the leaves. And so I grabbed the rake and I tried to help them rake the leaves. And another way that I thought we could help Cottage Grove was put up signs saying picking up trash because I'm a Girl Scout and my mom always says to leave a place better than you found it, and I do that every day, and so that's why I thought we could put up signs saying picking up trash and also being kind to others. And also, I'm one of those people that just like making gifts. I love art. I love arts and crafts. So usually when I get home, I do arts and crafts, and sometimes I like to draw and hand them out to people that I don't know. And when they smile back, it makes me feel really happy. And also, when my mom says that we're going to see a police officer, or I see one, I usually just I want to go over and give them a big hug, since I just feel like everybody is in a very big family, and also I like making gifts for other people. Even if it's not if it's Christmas, and I want to make gifts and it's in September, I was okay, I'll do it, since I just like making gifts a lot, and yeah.
All right, so let's give Sarah a round of applause. She did an amazing job. And I guess I wasn't doing my really good job as being mayor to say that the essays were about what would you want to do if you were the mayor of Cottage Grove, over some of the things that you'd like to do or to change. So, all right, so now let's go to Olive Becky.
Okay, so what I have for the community is cut down less trees, because trees produce us air, and trees are a living thing, so I think we should give them a chance. If they're really sick, we should cut them down, because we don't want the sickness to spread. And if we get an invader, so we would have to either cut down the trees or send a lot of woodpeckers or whatever eats it. And then for my second idea is helping the police by Kid Patrol, and I'm bus patrol at my school, so I thought it was a good idea to help the police with kids doing the speed things and get to see what it's like to be in a police car.
Fantastic. All right, so let's give Olive a round of applause. Well, I know you got the family out in the audience, and I'm sure you're all proud, as we are to have them up here. They did an amazing job. I mean, I was sharing with them, they were telling me a little bit earlier, Sarah was saying that how she gets a little nervous, but the fact of the matter is, you guys just spoke in front of groups and the cameras. You had a press conference a little while ago, and you guys did an amazing job with no nerves. And one last thing I will say about Sarah, she told me she had 3 wishes.
Yeah, on my napkin for the pizza.
Yep, on her napkin for the pizza that we had in the room here, and she had 3 wishes. And what are your 3 wishes?
To be mayor again, to be president, to be the governor.
And I said, that's possible. You know, it is totally possible. So,
Yes.
all right. So, council, why don't you join us down in front? Let's walk down in front, guys. We have a little something for you.
Can we grab our ideas?
Yes, take your stuff with you there, your sheets. All right. Look how good they are. They know exactly what they're doing here. They put their stuff down. They know this. My goodness. All right, so first thing I've got is just a certificate of appreciation for each of you. So I'll start with Sarah. It just says, in sincere appreciation for your service to the city of Cottage Grove as mayor for the day on November 6, 2019, Myron A. Bailey as mayor. So on behalf of myself, all the council, staff, and the citizens of Cottage Grove, congratulations on being mayor for a day. All right, and Olive, again, in sincere appreciation for your service to the city of Cottage Grove as mayor for the day on November 6th, 2019, Myron Bailey as mayor, and again, on behalf of the council and our staff and the citizens of Cottage Grove, thank you for leading our city today. All right, there we go. And I'm going to, Sarah, I'm going to give you your nameplate here. It's got your name on it there. Yep, thank you. There's Olive, there you go. And again, let's see you both put your name in new essays for next year. And I look forward to seeing you both around town and continue to share your ideas for the city of Cottage Grove, because I love both the ideas that you all shared with us earlier today, as well as the council. And I know our staff is taking copious notes. All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys. Let's give them a round of applause again. Yeah, you can slide down those. You'll have fun now. All right. Well, that was a blast. You ready? All right. Next on our agenda this evening is consent calendar. Is there anything council would like to pull on consent this evening? Anything at all?
I didn't have anything.
All right, so what I'm going to do, because I know Mr. Koyman had requested that he wanted to speak on something on E. So what I'd like to do is ask for a motion by council to approve everything on consent except for E, so we can do that separately, and I'll have Mr. Koyman come up to speak on that item. So if one of you would like to make a motion to approve consent without E.
I'll move consent without E.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilmember Thiede,
Second.
second by Councilmember Mills. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then the next item was E, by the way, for the public to know. E was open forum response, and it was regarding the comprehensive plan process. And Mr. Koyman, I believe that was a response to you from the last meeting. Did you want to come up and did you want to share something on that?
Mayor, City Council, thanks again for letting me speak on this topic. So folks out there, the 2040 comprehensive plan kind of affected our neighborhood. There's one of the designations went from low density to medium density. We live in a very rural section of Cottage Grove up by the corner of 65th and Geneva. The designation will allow for a planned development of 98 townhomes, which, you know, really doesn't fit our property neighbors, I guess. So as part of that, I had asked quite a number of questions at the last city council meeting, and I had gotten a response back from Mr. Burbank, and that helped. You know, I think I was always thinking that there was a form, a fee, and everybody that wanted to have a change needed to fill that out, and based on his note, that's not always the case. So it did answer, you know, I think I originally had 14 questions for you. I took care of 4 of them, but the specific questions I had were not covered by his note. And I made a brand new sheet with highlighted bold questions that were not answered. I can leave them with the staff. I can talk through them now if you like, but
Yeah, why don't you just leave them with staff or give them to me, and then I can get it to staff if you'd like. That would probably be easiest.
that sounds good. I'll do that. And then, you know, if you can get back to me on these, and, you know, I won't have to keep coming back and bothering you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So at this point then, since we let Mr. Koyman, thank you, speak on this item, the point of this is that we're responding to his open forum issue, which staff has done, so I'll look for approval on E.
I'll move E, please.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilmember Mills,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Butt. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So if you were here for anything on tonight's consent calendar, all of those items have now been approved. 8 is approved disbursements. 8A is approved payment for the period 10/18 through 10/31.
Move the bills.
We have a motion by Councilmember Thiede,
Second.
second by Councilmember Mills. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 9 is public hearings. We do have one this evening. A is the Ravine Park Project, and Ryan Burfine is going to take us through this. Ryan, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. To start off with the assessment hearing tonight, I'm going to run through a presentation where I'll talk about some of the background on the project and the improvements that were made and the assessment role today. Here you can see an overview of the entire area. Just to show there was kind of 2 phases to this project. On the left side of the screen was from Hinton Avenue up to Insdale Avenue, work that was done in 2019. And then on the right side of the screen, we have from Jamaica Avenue to Keats Avenue. That was started in 2018 and finished in 2019. A summary of the improvements that were made. Did construct a 2-lane bituminous urban street section. We added turn lanes on Keats Avenue and Jamaica Avenue to serve Ravine Parkway. We constructed trails on both sides of the road connecting to existing city and county trail corridors. There were storm sewer, sanitary sewer, water main improvements. Large amount of landscaping, including irrigated medians, boulevards, entrance monuments, and then a large scenic area that's located within the parkway. We also installed street lighting throughout the roadway, consistent with our Ravine standard lighting that we have in town. And also we partnered with the South Washington Watershed District to expand their regional pond that is in that area. Here you can see a layout of the project that began in 2019. This is from Jamaica Avenue to Keats Avenue. This was construction of an entirely new section of roadway. We did remove a portion of Military Road consistent with the planning that started back in 2003 and 2004. We're working with Washington County to convert Military Road to a trail corridor over time as the area develops. We also constructed the turn lanes on Jamaica Avenue and Keats Avenue. And then hatched out in blue, you can see the grading work that was done with the Watershed District. That bid alternate 2 was an alternate that was not awarded. However, if you go out there today, since that time, with all the development happening, most of that grading work in that area has been completed as well. Here you can see the 2019 project layout. This is from Insdale Avenue down to Hinton Avenue. It's more the highlighted in the bright yellow is the area that was constructed in this past year during 2019, adjacent to the Calarosa development. And then you can kind of see 3 remaining, well, it's 1 area, but over 3 parcels of kind of the faded out portion. That's development-driven sections of the parkway that'll be built as those individual parcels develop. We do have 1 in the planning for next year with the Calarosa East development, which is at Planning Commission. This past month will be City Council here in the coming weeks. The total project costs were just over $12.2 million. That includes everything, including engineering, indirect costs. South Washington Watershed District, their portion of grading was about $250,000. And the total assessments that were at the preliminary assessment roll at the public hearing was just over $3 million. I'll talk about the assessment calculation a little bit. So these improvements provide a benefit for developable parcels in the East Ravine District. The improvements provide both street access and utility service for these parcels. And with the assessment calculation, we followed what's our tiered policy follows that we use for other projects similar to this. It's 50% of the road and landscaping costs minus funds that had been previously collected through development were used to calculate the assessment amount. Utility costs were also not included because we have trunk area funds that are collected through development to cover those costs. And based on that, the proposed assessment was $9,130.34 per acre. Now, we did supply or create and draft deferred assessment waivers with city attorney. These were provided for each property owners, and this allows them to defer the assessment until time of development, and that's without interest. And there is no end date to that agreement. And currently, waivers have been signed for 28 of the 29 properties that were included on the preliminary assessment roll. Here you can see the total the assessed properties that are highlighted in yellow. This is for the 2018-2019 project that we just completed. There's 29 properties here that are highlighted in yellow and were originally included in the preliminary assessment roll. For tonight's assessment roll, it is just the one outstanding property that did not sign a deferred assessment waiver agreement. This is parcel 12 on the previous map, owned by John and Marie Stechkan, in the amount of $35,425.71. Since we do have the one property on the assessment roll, I do want to talk through the city's standard assessment terms. They may be paid within 30 days of adoption to avoid any interest charges. Otherwise, they are payable over 15 years with an interest rate 1.5% above the bond rate. Partial payment is allowed, and then a different form of deferral. This is for all projects, not the deferred agreements that the city did specifically, is also available. This is for a disability military age 65 years of age or older, and proof is needed for the deferrals, and for this type of deferral, interest still accrues during that period. So this is a separate deferral that any assessed property has the right to use through the state statute. I'll note that John and Marie Stechkan did submit a formal objection to the city of this assessment on October 13th, 2019. A copy of that letter is included in the documents in front of you tonight. And with that, the recommendation tonight is to hold the assessment hearing and adopt the assessment roll for the projects. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay. Council, any questions for staff at this point? Okay. No? Okay. So what I'm going to do then is go ahead and open the public hearing. This is the opportunity for anybody who'd like to speak on this item. Do you need the mic? You got it? Okay. And again, just, I know who you are. But
I've been here.
just state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Okay, John Stechkan, 9263 Military Road, Cottage Grove. Now, I heard Ryan say you do have the formal letter that I submitted in front of you, and I presume you all read it. Would you like me to read it for the cameras or for the rest of the?
I mean, it's totally up to you. We've
Yeah, I
got it,
guess
but-
we'll go through it. We are appealing the proposed assessment of $35,421.71 on the property that I just stated. The city published in the South Wash County Bulletin on October 2nd. The meeting would take place October 16th at 7 p.m. We did not receive our official letter until October 4th. This is a direct violation of the state statute 429, whereas the letter must be sent 2 weeks prior to the meeting. The letter must state the appeal process. The assessment doesn't follow state statute 429. A special assessment must confer a special benefit on the property being assessed. Special benefit is defined as immediate increase in the property's market value resulting from the project. In other words, the city must establish the property assessed increased in the value by at least as much as the assessed sum. The city even stated this in their deferred assessment waiver, section 3.0D. The owners agreed to the assessment amount. The city has proposed to specially assess the property at a rate of $9,134.34 per acre without regard to access to the project. The city's special assessment approach is based on the project cost and not the benefit received on the property. Special assessments based on project cost rather than increased in market value to the property fail as a matter of law. In order for a special assessment to be valid, the land must receive a special benefit from the improvement being constructed. The assessment must be uniform upon the same class of property. The assessment may not exceed this special benefit. Special benefit is measured by the increase in market value of the land owing the improvement. A special assessment that does not meet these requirements is an unconstitutional taking. The property does not have direct access to the Ravine Parkway Road. The road is approximately 9 feet above my property. The property also has its own well and septic system, so sewer and water bring no extra value to the property. The city didn't follow its own special assessment policy. The city failed to prepare analysis or appraisal to support the proposed assessment. Despite for such analysis under section 4.1, which states market analysis or appraisal shall be conducted prior to the project onset to determine the project's benefit relative to the proposed assessment. I've never received anything. I've asked, and Jennifer sent me the big package of the whole construction project, and it's based off project cost. So the assessment is an impact fee because it's based on project cost and not increase in market value. What is the difference between a special assessment and an impact fee? While a special assessment attempts to allocate the cost of a specific defined public improvement based upon the benefits received by individual properties, where impact fees, by contrast, seek to allocate to undeveloped property owners and the future cost of additional public infrastructure that will be required to accommodate new development. Exactly what the city did. Cities cannot create financing mechanism in reliance on inherent or implied powers in the absence of the express statutory authority that sanctions the revenue raising scheme. SJC Properties versus the City of Rochester presents a corollary to these principles, demonstrating the city cannot legally adopt an impact fee for road improvements and purport these fees through the special assessment procedure, statute 429. SJC Property is a judicial appeal of over 1.7 million in special assessments levied by the City of Rochester against 200 acres of contiguous parcels, undeveloped property owned and controlled by developer Frank Kashadi, collectively SJC Properties. a regional transportation planning process, and Rochester's creation of a fund mechanism to finance the city's portions of the transportation improvements, provide the backdrop for special assessments levied against the SJC properties. Accordingly, the district court concluded that the TID fees established by the city for the SJC property were in the exact same amount as the special assessment ultimately levied against the plaintiff's property. 1.7 million. TID fees cannot be imposed involuntarily as they are not authorized as the characteristics of road. TID fees has the characteristics of road impact fees, which is not legally sanctioned. For these reasons, the district court set aside this special assessment of $1.7 million. Why would Marie and I myself, enter into a contract, the deferred assessment waiver with the city that states the city increased my property value by $35,421.71, and they can show no proof. It also states I would be willing to waive our assessment appeal rights. I also do not want a deferred assessment on my property for the resale complications when selling to another private party. Think about it. Would you buy a piece of property if it has an assessment on it? I would say no thanks. I do not want to get a lawyer involved to see what this means. Before the housing market crashed, developers were paying $100,000 to $125,000 per acre, but only wanted to put a small amount down. I told them to go away, which was a good decision. I could have been like the properties at the corner of Military and Keats, where the developer walked away at closing. Today's developers are paying $70,000 to $75,000 per acre. 75,000 times 3.88 acres comes out to 291,000. And then I pay the city 35,000, brings it down to 256,000. Our property tax is based on $391,800 evaluation. I would lose $135,000. So you can see it doesn't pay to sell to a developer. The city just approved a 26 home development next to our property. So this just leaves my 3.88 acres. I don't think developers are interested in this small of a parcel. As you see, property values change in price that developers are willing to pay. So the special assessment does not hold up in the court of law. The property value is not increased and does not follow state statute 429. If I do not follow the appeal procedure properly, will the judge say, that's okay, we will just move the date as the city did when they found out they were in violation of not following 429 and sending out letters 14 days prior. City council needs to ask themselves, is this an impact fee? No. If no, is the city following the state statute? And showed the property value increased by $35,421. I'm sure there's something to be said.
Okay. All right. I know we're taking comments. Is there any staff want to share anything at this point or no? Corey, do you want to? I mean, I know a couple of things that were in there that, go ahead.
Your Honor, this is the public hearing, so this is their opportunity to voice their opinions
Yes.
on the assessment and whether or not there is a special benefit. This is not the time to have the trial. That will be for a later day if he perfects the appeal. So we look forward to that day.
Okay.
But this is the time for the city council to vote whether they're gonna make the special assessment, so they should be informed.
No, and I appreciate you sharing the information, but a lot of the information that you shared with us is citing different legal situations. For example, the situation in Rochester. We don't have that. We can go off of what our attorney and what our city staff has provided to us as data and history. History both with this particular project as well as other projects that we've done around town. I understand the one situation you're talking about where the 14-day period at the very beginning wasn't followed to the liking, but because of that, staff deferred the actual public hearing so that there was enough time for everybody to make sure that they had their letter, which means we did follow the law. Unfortunate that the letter didn't get out, so we could have did this last month. But the fact is, we still, as you're here today, still received the opportunity to voice your objections and your concerns regarding the process. What you're speaking about in your letter that we received that's before us here tonight, you're saying that's a direct violation based on our feedback from the attorney and their law firm and that it is not a direct violation. If we would have did the hearing back when the original date was proposed, instead of doing it tonight, without the notification that you're talking about, I believe we would have been in violation. So the fact is that in that particular item, we still follow the policy and the special statute as it relates to that, so.
And then with not following the city's own policy, 4.1.
Well, I guess I'm not going to specifically comment. I mean, I can look to staff if you want to share anything specific. And I'm assuming you're talking about the special benefit appraisal? Or are you just talking about the process, the 429?
No, their city's own special assessment policy, 4.1, determination of the benefit.
Okay.
You know, no appraisal was ever done.
Okay. Do you want to speak on that one?
Your Honor, members of the council, typically in a road project, your annual road projects that you do, the staff does a random sampling of properties in that area to give an idea of what the special benefit is so that it is not exceeded when the assessment roll is adopted. This is a very unique project, and there was no way to do, I mean, you would have had the city would have had to do 29 different appraisals, which is at an exorbitant cost to the project. It is not required, it's a policy, and a policy is a guideline, and the council can choose to have exceptions to that policy, and this is one of those construction projects that truly it was appropriate to have an exception not to do special benefit appraisals, because like I said, you would have had to do 29 different appraisals. So Mr. Stechkan can appeal, and at that point, if his appeal is perfected, then we will engage a special benefit appraiser, and then we will be able to determine whether or not this assessment is warranted and whether or not the city council exceeded it. We think that it will be supported by a special benefit appraisal.
Okay. Seeing the city clerk isn't here, do they want a copy of what I?
That would be great, yeah. If you want to, as you're going back to your seat, you can maybe hand it off to Robin and she could give it to our attorney. Thank you. All right, was there anybody else that would like to speak on this item for this public hearing? Anybody at all? All right, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And council, you have a motion before you, which I guess would be to adopt the assessment roll which in this particular case is one property owner as all the other just, I guess, for the public to be aware, and I think Ryan did mention it in his information, all the other property owners in this area did sign the waiver, if you will, which means that until they actually sell their property for development, the assessments would not be paid. Am I correct? And there is no interest in that either, right? Okay, I know it was in there. I just want to make sure the public is aware of that. Okay.
I do have a question.
Yeah, Councilmember Thiede.
Just out of curiosity, does the county actually pick up on that as a added value to that particular property parcel?
Your Honor, members of the council, when the county comes back and they reassess properties and to determine taxable value, they do take into consideration all of the improvements that the city has made in the area, and they certainly would take into account that public sewer and water is now available to that property. So that may be a factor in their determination.
Okay. All right, council. We've got a motion before us. Anybody want to take it? Well, one way or the other, there's got to be a vote. So,
As a comment, again, I would say that, you know, on first blush, I would say, well, you know, you can defer it, okay, so that you don't see that any expense until you could actually sell it to a developer. And if I was selling to a developer and that work was already done and I'd add it to the price of the property, I guess I'd be interested, you know, I wouldn't probably be very happy if, you know, like in a situation where if all of a sudden Washington County said, well, your property is, you know, added 38,000 to it, so your taxes are gonna go up because of that, because it really didn't, in his case, if at this point he doesn't connect to the, you know, city services and so forth, that he, I don't know that he's seen much benefit, you know, from the road going in. Ideally, I'd like to think that it should add to his property when the developer comes in. And we do know that ultimately, those properties probably will be developed. So I guess I'm not sure right now if, whether, you know, in terms of with what the county might do. I don't know, that's my feeling. I don't know if
Councilmember Dennis?
Thanks, Mayor. So this is one of those times when you have something come before that is very difficult to deal with. And, you know, thinking back to the work that I do with our planning commission, you know, we seek to follow the findings of fact and not act in arbitrary or capricious fashion. And so I guess my question that I would like to ask is, if the council did something different with this, where does that leave us relative to not only the other property owners that have signed on that have taken this deferment, but where would that leave us as we look at the future of having business dealings with people? Because the government, for the most part, has to act in a way that's consistent. People have to be treated fairly, and we want to treat people fairly. And you know, I've had my challenges of, you know, looking at individual cases by merit. But if you could, Corey, if you wouldn't mind expanding upon this, just to, you know, give us some advisement here, so we understand where we would be if we went one way or the other.
Your Honor, members of the council, so you have to treat like properties the same for the class of properties. And so all of these properties were treated equally as developable properties, and they were determined, the value was determined based on the acreage for for the size of the properties and the fact that you take into account the highest and best use. And so we truly believe that the assessed value will not exceed the benefit to these properties ultimately as the highest and best use isn't probably not single-family residential. It is intended to be a multi-lot development, and that, as you indicated, is what many of these properties have been selling for. So we do not think that the assessment will exceed the special benefit that the property owner will ultimately receive. Mr. Thede is right that it's not today. He doesn't feel that benefit, but ultimately, it's the highest and best use of that property is what the special benefit appraisal will take into account. And we believe it is truly supportable. Otherwise, we would not present this number before you.
Okay, and we don't, I know we've got Jennifer here, but we don't necessarily have our economic development team in the room here. As development courses through an area, and John and his wife own less than 4 acres. It's not a very big parcel. They're running the risk if they don't develop in the moment that the developer wants to buy the land, the cost factor goes down. Once that sweep or that pass through that wave covers over the top of development and moves past, it becomes difficult to go back. And this I know to be true because I've spoken with a number of my friends in the community that are professional realtors, and have a good sense and understanding of that. So, I think this is difficult because we understand and feel for the situation of the property owners here. And voting to approve this brings no pleasure on anybody's part. It just doesn't. It's a no-win situation for us. But I think what I have to look at is to say, what plays to the bigger interest of our business and protecting the community and being consistent with what we've done as a process across the board. So Mayor, if you're okay, I'll make the motion.
All right, do you want to read the motion?
I will.
Thank you.
I'll make motion to approve Resolution 2019-121, adopting the assessment role for the Ravine Parkway project.
All right, so I have a motion by Councilmember Dennis. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second by Councilmember Butt. Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, Councilmember Mills.
Corey, if this were to sell to a single family, they don't sell to a developer, goes to a single family, what happens with the assessment? Is that then assessed at that time when it sells, or only if it's for development?
Your Honor, members of the council, what we prepared in the deferred assessment waiver was that exact situation would happen, that if it was sold for single family, that the assessment would not become effective. It's only upon sale to a developer. If you adopt the assessment role, it becomes effective immediately on next year's taxes. And so if the property is sold, regardless of whether it's sold to a developer or to a single-family homeowner, that will be due.
Okay, so if it's deferred, they would have to pay it? Or only for development?
Specifically, the deferral allowed for the sale of property to another single family without having to pay the assessment. And it would just continue on the property.
Thank you for that clarification. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that was it. The only other question I had, I don't know if, I see maybe Ryan or Christine's back there. I know a lot of times when we go in with some of these, I'll call them, matter of fact, I saw it on one of the maps that you had specifically up by the Calarosa area, where you provided kind of I'll call it a ghost plat. Did we ghost plat this? Mm-hmm. Okay. So the property that he is
I
at?
do it a little differently, but.
Okay. Well, my point was, I just was curious. I know we've done that in a couple of areas. I know that one house that was on the corner of Hinton and Ideal, I think it was. Is it Ideal? Over by Highlands,
Right.
where the farmstead was there. I know we ghost platted that and they ended up selling it.
Right.
And the reason I'm bringing it up is because of the concern that, and I think you were kind of alluding a little bit to it, is as projects happen around, it becomes a little bit more interesting on how you interconnect roads and that. So I just wanted to make sure that we're following kind of the ghost plat idea, so that there isn't going to be a landlocked situation in this particular case.
On the ghost plat, because the ghost plat put the properties are proposed lots into the Deutsch's property. I have no authority to sell the Deutsch
Okay. Thank you. All right, any other comments? Councilmember
One
Thiede.
more. So if we approve this right here, they still have an option to sign a waiver or no?
Your Honor, members of the council, I think up until the time that we have to certify it with the county, I think the city staff would consider allowing them to still adopt or execute the deferral assessment, and then that would come back before you in another meeting for approval.
One more question.
Yes, go ahead.
So with the ghost plot, and I know that developers come in, they want to develop things, okay? Was he given a chance to actually take a look at how the ghost plot works? And, because right now you got a ghost plotted to eliminate their house, which they got a pretty nice house. So, you know, in terms of the option of incorporating that into any neighborhood or the property next to them, that's obviously still a possibility, right?
Mayor and the members of the council, we have looked at a number of ghost plat issues. Obviously, with any development that's happening in the Upper Ravine District, as development is occurring, we need to ensure that whatever happens on one parcel doesn't have a negative impact on the adjacent parcel. So ensuring that we can get sewer and water to the other parcel, that they can get access to the parcel, to ensure that there's continuity in those services and there's a flow to the neighborhood. And it doesn't look like things were just dropped in randomly, but there's a lot of thought put into that. And we have worked to find some different alternatives for that. Actually taking into account the saving of the existing home was not something that was originally looked at. But obviously, when we start looking at development very seriously, we can look at other options for that. And given the density of 4 units per acre on his just roughly 3-acre parcel, there is a substantial amount of lots that could be platted on that, given the single-family density.
Okay. All right, so we have motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion and the second signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next is 10 is bid awards. There are none tonight. 11 is the regular agenda. We do have one item on this evening's regular agenda, and that is the canvass results of the November 5th, 2019 municipal special election for the Cottage Grove City Council member. And I know our council member-elect, Justin Olson, is in the audience. Congratulations, Justin. And so council, look for a motion to, I don't think we have anything we need to talk about. The numbers are there. So I'll look for a motion to approve the special election results.
I will make that motion. I move that we adopt Resolution 2019-120, canvassing returns of votes cast at the November 5th, 2019 municipal special election and declare the winner. This item will be amended. Oh, I'm on the wrong, sorry. I didn't bring up the right amended.
You're fine, just we're accepting the results.
We're accepting the results.
That's why I said what I said. All right, so Councilmember Thiede made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Dennis. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. There you go. All right, next is council comments and request. I'll do my normal and start with Councilmember Mills.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just one little extra announcement about Arts Commission coming up on Tuesday. We'll have a revealing of the art displayed. The staff kind of helped with some of this, and the Arts Commission took a look at it with the art that's going to be displayed throughout City Hall. So that will be November 12th, which is next Tuesday. Stop on by at the beginning. We'll have a nice presentation at that time as well. So we're very excited about that. The other thing is I just want to, wish all the best to our colleague down here at the end, Wayne Butt, and thank you for your service. I know you're going to probably say a little bit more here, Mayor, but thank you for your service. I enjoyed working with you over the past, what was it, 9 months, 11 months, whatever it was.
10 months, 6 days.
10 months and 6 days,
3 hours,
okay.
2 minutes, and 15 seconds, yeah.
So thank you for stepping up and filling that role, and certainly look forward to the next phase now with Justin Olson coming on board, but certainly enjoyed our time together. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. Councilmember Dennis.
Thank you, Mayor. It was a week ago tomorrow that you and I were in Minneapolis at MinCar, which is a Minnesota Commercial Association of Real Estate group. And they are the preeminent commercial real estate brokerage organization in the state. We were there along with Christine and Matt from Economic Development promoting our city. Really had a great event and worked alongside of Washington County there. And they had one other city that was in attendance as well. But got some really nice leads and had a chance once again to put Cottage Grove on the map from an economic development perspective. And then I did want to mention that the Holiday Train Begging Event fundraiser down at Cub Foods is coming up on the 24th. That's going to be a Sunday, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So if you're looking to buy any groceries that day, please come down. We'd be very happy to bag those groceries for you and help to raise some money that'll benefit the Friends in Need food shelf. And then I also want to take a moment to thank Wayne for his service here. It's been a pleasure, sir, working with you. And you've got such a positive spirit about yourself. And I know we will continue, as you've said, working together. You're president of the Chamber of Commerce, which is a really nice accolade to have. So we'll look forward to that continuing association as we make our home a better place. And then last but not least, I just want to take a second, and Mayor, you might be talking about this anyhow, but there was an incident that took place in the community here. And our first responders did an amazing job. And, you know, I've talked different times over these years, and I see Pete back there smiling, and it's a good thing to see him smile because sometimes we don't smile at what happens. And so had a chance to come in and spend a little bit of time with our team in the roll call. And, you know, the community cannot thank you guys enough for what you do. And it's really important to me and to all of us here and to the community at large that you help to channel that so that they know and understand how much they're appreciated. Make sure everyone is taken care of and that they'll do well. So thank you very much on behalf of the whole community. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. There you go. Councilmember Butt.
Wow, thank you.
I got to say that. Well, I'm still going to say it another time or two. Yet,
Sure. Just briefly, I'm gonna hit on the chamber events coming up here, and as always, the Cottage Grove Area Chamber of Commerce appreciates the city of Cottage Grove and the River Oaks Golf Course and Country Club down there. And so, coming up on November 12th, they are sponsoring our business after hours from 4:30 to 6. And one thing I'd like to note on chamber events that these really need to be community events, not just chamber events. So we're really reaching out to the community to partake in the things that we're going to do in going into 2020. Next is Coffee's on November 13th, sponsored by Culver's. I won't be there because I'm always donating platelets, but I'll try to make every event. Next, Women in Business. If only I could attend the Women in Business meetings, I would pick up so much knowledge. That group, whether you're a member of Women in Business or not, please take note on their speakers because they bring in some really talented spokespersons that come into Women in Business that if only I could go, I would pick up so much, but I can't. Next, Network Lunch Chamber event down at River Oaks again. And I know I will be there. They've got great food. So for those that missed it, breakfast was awesome this morning, and most of the people in this room were there. And so if you like bacon, they had bacon. Then coming up, I think the date's wrong here. It should be December 4th, but I'll validate that. We got some time to correct it. Tanucci's, Community Holiday Breakfast up at Tanucci's. Their capacity is 250 persons. I'm hoping to pack the house at that event. So if you can, get your ticket now and let's pack the house. I'm hoping Joe Johnson comes in from trustvets.com and knocks it out of the ballpark with his talk. And that's all I've got for now. I'm gonna save the best for last. It's coming up. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Councilmember Thiede.
All right. Well, first, I'd like to mention on a calendar of upcoming events as that the Parks, Recreation, Natural Resource Commission meeting was originally scheduled and is still showing on the schedule here for November 11th because of Veterans Day has been canceled. So that will not happen if anybody has that on their calendar. Also, I'm excited to welcome Justin back. I served with him on council prior, 4 years ago or whatever it was that you decided to take some time off. So I'm looking forward to him coming back on. And Wayne, you've just been a pleasure to have on council and sitting next to me and so forth. And again, as was said, that we're not really losing you in the community because you're president of the Chamber of Commerce, and I love you put out a letter. I mean, the first day I think that you were on the job, and it was like afterwards I said, wow, this guy has got some energy. I mean, going out, reaching out, saying, hey gang, let's pull together, let's have some ideas, let's figure out what we're gonna do, and I think that's fantastic. I can comment on probably almost 10 years ago or so, back when even Walmart before that was going in and so forth, that I don't think the council, I don't think the city had that much interaction with the Chamber of Commerce, because I would say, well, let's talk about, we really want to bring businesses in, but we want to look at how do we keep the businesses that we got here too, and what kind of programs and things like that. And I was kind of told, well, we don't really get involved with the chamber that much. And it was like, really? So I think it's just fantastic that we have now gotten more interaction with the chamber, and the chamber is so active in the community. So I'm really excited about your reign on the Chamber of Commerce and so forth. But let's see, did I have anything else? No, I think that'll take care of it right now.
All right. Well, then I'll kind of wrap things up. There was as we're looking forward, I know Councilmember Dennis mentioned about bagging groceries at Cub that Sunday before Thanksgiving, and all the money for that, the proceeds of that go to the Friends in Need food shelf, but it goes through the holiday train. And so as we're getting now into the holiday season, there is a couple events that I wanted to mention, and I know Councilmember Butt was mentioning about how good River Oaks Eagles and what am I trying to say? I'm having a problem with it. The event center.
Eagles Bar and Grill.
Eagles Bar and Grill, but the event center, they have an event coming up on November 22nd. That's a Friday, and that's before Thanksgiving. And that is a thing called Friendsgiving. And I know you've been there the last couple of years with myself, right?
Yes.
And you too, yes. And so I do know that we've got 2 tables reserved and there's tables of 8. And I would just tell you that if you haven't had the chance to be in this thing, it is absolutely amazing. The food is terrific. The staff is amazing. We saw it again this morning at the prayer breakfast. And the fact is, it's $30 a person. If you do get a table, if you would like, they'll give you 2 bottles of wine per table if you do an actual full table. You don't have to. You can just do yourself. You could just do a couple friends, whatever. But if you haven't done this, I would encourage you to try it. It is really worth it. And we've done it since the first year. It's gotten bigger every year, so there's still some room. But they've already had, I did talk to him actually this morning, and he said he's already got a lot of people signing up for this. So if you are interested, get involved in that. And again, that's at River Oaks. And then as we head into the holiday season, before the December 4th meeting here at City Hall at 5:45, we'll have the holiday lights, the Christmas tree that we'll be lighting officially, and then Santa and Mrs. Claus will be here, and hot chocolate or cider and such. So I encourage you to stop by for that. We'll have some music. The Santa brunch back down at River Oaks is from 8 to 1 on December 8th. That is also a great event, so I'd encourage you to do that. And then on December 10th, again, keeping in that holiday mindset, The holiday train will be making its stop on December 10th at around 5:15. It's along West Point Douglas Road near the Youth Service Bureau. And I know they mentioned something on here about the Festival of Wreaths, and I do know the council, what it is you can buy a wreath and decorate it, and then they put it up down there, and you can go check out everybody's wreaths. You can put your names on it if you want. You can do whatever. Do you remember what the price is? Do you want to bring that up? Do you remember?
$100.
It's 100. That's what I thought, but I just want to make sure.
And if I may,
Yes.
also, most of those wreaths can be donated to a
Yes.
family that can display it. So,
Perfect, and
yeah.
that's what I was going to say. So I know the council is just, Councilmember-elect Olson doesn't know this yet, but the council's going together on a wreath. But the whole idea here is, the council did that last year. It was the first year that they did this and it was beautiful, and we had a great time putting it together, and then donating it. And so this is an opportunity for $100. All that money goes back to the Friends in Need food shelf through the holiday train. Plus, you get to see them all lit up down by the train. It was pretty neat last year to see how different businesses and such put those wreaths together. So if you're interested, you can reach out to one of us up here. We'll get you in contact. I know there's information out on Facebook I've seen, but if you do want some further information, would like to do that, you're welcome to do that. And so that's some of the holiday events that are coming up. And I know I'm missing probably a few, but we'll just leave it at that. One other item before we get to the milestone of the evening, if you will, and that is Councilmember Dennis mentioned about the public safety response. And I don't know if Pete will ever get sick of hearing how proud we were and are of our police, fire, EMS. And the fact of the matter is, as an example, I'll share this morning, I did bring it up at the Cottage Grove Prayer Breakfast down at River Oaks, and our public safety department got 2 standing ovations, actually. One when I brought it up, and a little bit later when some of the officers were not able to be there. Yeah, they went, yeah. So I just want to say, it's, and what's interesting is, other than, to be quite frank with you, the seriousness of the situation and the fear I know many of us had about, when I got the first call from our administrator right off the bat, are any officers hurt? Is everybody okay? Keep the information flowing. But also the people that were involved, the citizens of that neighborhood. And I know I've heard nothing, literally nothing but positive praise about how all of you treated those neighborhoods, that neighborhood in the Hidden Valley area. And even as early as, or yesterday and today, being back out there and making sure that they feel comfortable to be back in their homes with an incident like that happening in their particular neighborhood. It just goes to show, one, the level of commitment and passion both our public safety, fire, and EMS has in Cottage Grove, but also the level of passion and belief of our community and what they believe, and they believe in our system here and the people that work for the city of Cottage Grove. So again, I just want to say, Pete, on my behalf, and I'm sure I can say it as part of the council as well as the rest of the citizens of Cottage Grove, please continue to pass our appreciation along to everybody in public safety. I know it's been a tough week. I know I heard you say this morning you were operating like on 4 hours of sleep. I'm surprised you're still here tonight. Yeah, we're keeping you up. Sorry, I am kind of doing there. You got your shot at me. There we go. But again, very proud of the team, the work that they did pulling together and working with outside agencies and such. So kudos to you and thank you for all that you guys do. Yes. All right. Finally. So what I'd like to do actually is have the council come join me along with our outgoing council member Butt down in front of the council dais. Angie, you want to come up or do you want to take pictures? You can come up.
I was in dress blues this morning and Pete asked me, what happened? And I said, well, I cleaned up.
He was. So, I just have to mention this is an interesting day, of course, in the fact that officially this will be your last meeting. You're technically still a council member until the next council meeting when we officially swear in Councilmember Olson. But over the last, basically 11 months, getting to know you more than I already did prior to that, and the rest of the council, and I know everybody here feels the same along with staff. We do appreciate you stepping into that role. There might be a lot of people out there that think that being a council member is this glorious job that you get all these accolades for, but when the phone's ringing and somebody's upset because their water bill's too high or the street's not plowed, not yet, right, Les? Or didn't salt, I think I heard that this morning, sorry. But the whole matter is it takes a lot of work, there's a lot of reading, family has to be supportive. I know Angie was there to support you through this process. And I just want to say I'm proud to have you as part of our team up here and proud to have you as a member of our community, a business owner in our community, and going to be obviously the president of the chamber. And so I wanted to present this plaque to you kind of as an outgoing gesture. And it says, presented to Councilmember Wayne Butt in appreciation for your dedicated service to the city of Cottage Grove, presented the 6th day of November 2019 from the city of Cottage Grove. So on behalf of myself, all the council, the staff, and everybody in our community, thank you for the last 11 months of service and for many months going forward as the chamber president. There you go. You have anything you want to say? I was going to say, I see notes here, so I'm assuming there's going to be talking, so I'll hand the mic over to you.
Thank you, Mayor, council, staff, residents of Cottage Grove. First off, I'll just go through my list. Wayne Johnson created this vacancy. Thank you, Wayne, for doing that and in answering my phone call with questions of how do I proceed with this venture. And then next, Angie just giving me the nod to say, Wayne, I think you should do this. And by her saying that, just meant to me that she knew I wanted to do this and gave me the opportunity, and full steam ahead I went. Mayor Council voted me in through a special selection process, and so it was you folks that stood up and said yes for me and voted me into office. Council member Steve Dennis was my mentor, and an awesome one at that. Thank you, Steve. City Administrator Jennifer Levitt set an appointment early in my term with the department directors that helped me immensely, giving me insight as to what my new role would look like as a council member, looking at the city and staff as a whole. I loved everything we did as a cohesive team. I said it early on, yes, you need to be a team player if you want to be on the City of Cottage Grove's team. Our city is going places. I highly suggest all residents of this city step up to the plate and make a difference. Start with all of the volunteer opportunities we have in this city and surrounding communities. As president of the Cottage Grove Area Chamber of Commerce, I look forward to serving and representing small, medium, and large businesses. I believe in providing our residents with a place to live, work, and play. And thank you all for believing in and supporting me. Thank you.
All right, you good? Pictures, we got her? All right, so council, let's go back up in the front. All right. Yeah, you can still kiss the wife.
I'm just so glad she wasn't here at every meeting, because she would distract me.
So that's your excuse. All right. So your work's not quite done yet, though, because this evening, now that we have no more council comments or requests, there is 13 is workshop session, which is open to the public. We are going to be talking about trash container storage ordinances. So just for a comment that was brought up by a council member. So we're just going to review that and look if we want to do any types of changes or updates. 14 is workshop session closed to the public. There is none this evening. So we won't be adjourning in here, but we will be adjourning in the conference room if anybody wants to be in there. But again, Wayne, it's been a pleasure having you on the team. And I know we're going to see you around town, and you can give us updates on the chamber anytime.
Absolutely.
All right?
Thank you, Mayor.
So we'll move to the conference room here shortly.